Good morning, YouTube, and happy Friday. It is also last test day in science, so this is the last day that I can administer major tests to my chemistry students. I'm really excited because it's the signal that it's the end of the year, and I am feeling very grateful that it was overall a pretty successful year. So this video is really just a vlog. I just want to share what I'm doing with my classes today, show you my day-to-day, and so what I'm going to do right now is I actually have to copy a quiz for CP, so I'm testing on equilibrium today. So I split the unit into two parts. We focus on the graphical nature of equilibrium, and then we look at, for example, like Le Chatelier's principle, but we don't actually do any calculations. That's really beyond the scope of the CP class. The honors classes do calculations, like Q versus K and ICE tables and whatnot. So I just have to go and make those copies. I actually have first period duty this morning. I have bathroom duty, so I have to go do that. But I'm hoping to make these copies first. That way I can make sure that my stuff is in good shape. Oh, the other thing that I have to do today is I also have to make sure that my students are ready for their submissions for the Chemagination competition. I remember a couple of weeks back I talked to you about a project that I was doing with AP, and one of the choices of that project was Chemagination. So I'm hoping to show you some of those artifacts and show you some of the things that my students have created, but I do need to kind of tie up any loose ends because those submissions are due by noon today. Fortunately, I have both my classes before noon with the AP kids, so I can make sure that their stuff is ready to go. So I'll be sure to check in with you guys in a little bit after I finish making my copies for my equilibrium quiz today. Well, it's about that time to head into my duty, so I am going to sign kids in and out of the bathroom. Not my favorite duty, although I will say it's better than lunch duty, but I would say this year things have been a little rough with bathroom duty because we've been having issues with students doing inappropriate things in bathrooms. Vaping has really taken off. It's really a big issue. I'm sure it's an issue in your school. Fortunately, the first period of the day is usually pretty uneventful, so we're going to hope that we keep it that way. So I will check in with you guys a little bit later, probably after my second period class, and then actually because I have second and then third, so probably after my second and third period class, I'll check in with you guys because I have my prep period then. I'm finally on my prep period, so I wanted to check in with you guys. It was a pretty uneventful morning. I did my bathroom duty, nothing to really report. It was pretty uneventful, and that's what's kind of nice in the beginning of the day when you have it. It's not too bad. Other than that, I went through my CP class. They took their quiz on equilibrium, so that was fine. They said it wasn't too difficult, so I'm really hopeful. I also was talking to them about, making sure that they use their resources. So like, for example, I've been encouraging them to highlight things, and so I encourage them to highlight, for example, solids and liquids so that they understand if I say, for example, change the concentration of a solid or a liquid, that has no effect on the shift. And so I think they have been finally listening to what I'm saying because I did see quite a few highlighters out. But other than that, I am just busy grading some of their quizzes for final exam review Friday. I've done, I've done a total of, I think, 4 final exam review Friday quizzes, maybe even a little more than that. I don't actually know, but I feel like it has been really effective in holding the students accountable, and it's been a way for the students just to be able to get some more grades in the grade book. I find that fourth marking period, I don't have as many points, so I like to give them as many opportunities as possible because we don't have as many assessments. I've been using FORMATIVE, which is formerly, I guess, known as GoFormative, for all my final exam review Friday quizzes. I just find that it's just easier for me because it's a quick quiz. Most of the questions are multiple choice with a few short answer here and there. But really it's just a way to just check in with the kids and, hold them accountable for the information that they've been learning since the beginning of the year. So other than that, I'm going to finish up grading some of these final exam review Friday quizzes. I do want to talk to you guys about some of the Chemagination submissions. I'm pretty impressed with what I'm seeing. I think they did a really great job, so I'll show you some of those. So yeah, so other than that, I'm gonna get busy on my grading. Hopefully I will finish it this period so I don't have to do it this weekend. It's the end of the day and I finished with all my classes for the day, but I would say it was kind of a slow start this morning. It seemed to be like pretty easygoing, but then towards the end of the day, things got so busy. A colleague asked a student to come in and actually take a test in my class, and so that student was here throughout my lunch period. So unfortunately I wasn't able to eat lunch today, but that's okay. I just spent time grading 2 CP quizzes, so at least I got one quiz out of the way. I actually have another one. Like I said, I gave them the equilibrium quiz today, so I have to grade that, but that I'll do this weekend, and then I got some planning for next week, so I'm in really good shape. One thing that I did want to show you are some of the student artifacts from Chemagination. They did a great job with it. I'm very excited. I hope they place in the competition, but I'm pretty impressed with what they did so far, so I thought I could show you some artifacts just so you can kind of see what the project was about. Here's an example of one of the submissions. So basically the students have to pretend that they're writing an article that's formatted in the same manner as Chem Matters, and they're trying to come up with a topic that's a new innovation. So this is basically 25 years in the future. So you can see this article is formatted very similar to a Chem Matters article. And basically there are certain criteria that needs to be met. So like, for example, the students need to design a cover. They need to create an article that describes some background information and then describes an innovation. So here's an example of one talking about scrubbers. And then finally, I had students do one on nuclear. And this is probably my favorite one. This one is very impressive. So I'm very hopeful that they will place in the competition. I mean, it looks pretty good. It's really up to the judges to decide on the content. But I think the hardest thing for students with this project is deciding on the innovation and think about the chemistry involved in that innovation. Overall, I would say it was a pretty uneventful day. It was a lot quieter than usual because there was a lot of kids out due to this trip. They were going to the Intrepid, so they were gone pretty much all day. I was missing 8 kids out of my one class and 7 out of the other, and it was technically our last testing day for science, so I had to, make sure that the students that were here took it, and then the students that come in, they're gonna have to take it in class on Monday. I did give them their final exam review packet. They were a little shocked by that because it's 12 pages long. A lot of my kids, as I think I've mentioned in previous videos, they've never taken a final exam. So I think they're a little stressed, but there are some scaffolds in place that I'm hoping will definitely make this a little bit more painless for them. I also think that all the preparation we've done so far with, the final exam review Fridays is definitely going to help them be successful. And I think that as long as they're doing the work, they're going to be fine. But towards the end of the year, doing the work often gets to be a struggle. But really getting the work done all year has been a real struggle for this group of students. I'm hopeful that next year it won't be as bad. I really feel like things need to change in terms of their compliance with work. I really need to think about and do some reflecting on how I can emphasize the importance of doing work, and doing work equals good grades, and it's definitely a challenge. I want to instill this idea of a really great work ethic in my kids, but this year I just feel kind of out of practice. I don't feel like I did as good of a job emphasizing it. I felt like the students started out strong in the beginning of the year because it was more like the honeymoon period. I'm happy to be back in school with my friends. I think the kids were feeling good. And then as the year went on, they kind of tapered off, and the effort just really isn't there. And so I'm hoping next year that I can somehow think about ways to enforce and instill the value of completing work, and not focus so much on the grading aspect and the grades, but more about how can I help the students think about their learning and take charge of their own learning, their own education. Definitely not an easy problem to tackle, but I'm definitely up for the challenge, and I'll be thinking about that probably all summer. If you have any suggestions for like books I should read, anything that you've come across that has really helped you, I'd love to know. So please feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can always email me. But I think that's really it for me. Thanks for sticking around and watching my vlog. Like I said, it wasn't really a crazy day, but I think I kind of needed that. It was nice to just have a little bit more of a low-key day, and I'm hopeful that for next week it should be a really great week. It should be a jam-packed week full of, you know, review and relaxing a little bit, and it should be pretty good. So I hope you are enjoying your summer break. If you're already on summer break, I'm a little jealous, but I will be there soon. For those of you that are still in school, you got this. You're almost there. Remember, I'm here too. We're in this together, but I will be sure to see you guys next week.